Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and I have to apologize in advance for my voice. I'm actually very sick right now. I can kind of barely talk, to be honest. So I'm wanting to keep this video as short as possible. Uh, a few years back, when the whole world ground to a halt, everybody had to stay home for a really long time, right? Um, that illness that was going around then is what I have now. I don't know what YouTube's current rules are when it comes to that. I know at the time, if you mentioned it by name and if you said the wrong thing, you could get a strike against your channel. So I don't want to say the C word. Um, but that's what I've got. First time I had it back in 2020, I was hospitalized. It was really hard on me. All the doctors thought I was not going to make it. And there was multiple contributing factors there, but one of the biggest ones is my brain tumor, actually, because my brain tumor dampens my immune system. So there have been times over the years where I'll just catch the common cold and it will linger for maybe 2 or 3 months, you know? Uh, a lot of times when I get sick, I stay sick for a very long time. So, yeah, the first time I had this, it was rough. I didn't think I was gonna make it. Uh, then I maybe like a year or 2 later, I got it again, and it wasn't nearly as bad. It was more like kind of an ordinary flu kind of an experience, you know? And then I had it a 3rd time. And that 3rd time was, like, great, like, it wasn't bad at all, like, I barely even noticed it, and so I thought, "This is just how it's gonna be now," like, it's just gonna it's gonna be a seasonal thing, everybody's gonna get it from time to time, but, uh, it's just not gonna be so bad. So I don't know what's going on this time around. Um, it's rough. It's not as bad as that first time, but, like, it is bad. And I really don't have much of a voice at all. Like, I don't think I could yell right now if my life depended on it. I just, like, I have no strength. I can't draw enough breath into my lungs to be able to project like I normally can. Um, so I'm going to try to get through this. This probably isn't going to go like my videos normally go. So I apologize. Okay, so the plot of this one, I'm going to do that now rather than make people wait because I know a lot of people just want to hear the story and, that's it. Check out, that's fine. So the story is overly simplistic. I'm going to tell you that, but then I'm going to explain why we did it, which takes a little more unpacking. So the story is that Wanda Maximoff is a mutant and she's young and she doesn't fully know how to use her mutant powers yet. And she accidentally sets a fire in a village in Europe in the 1960s. And they put the fire out, but these villagers have no idea what a mutant is. And so they are going to burn her at the stake. And the word that they use to describe her is they call her a scarlet witch. But this is not a good thing, right? This is not like her preferred moniker or something like that. She actually hates being called this. And so these guys all have pitchforks, torches, and stuff like that. You get the gist, right? Well, and that is how her origin story played out in the comics. And in the comics, along comes Magneto, who we are told later on is her biological father and he has her join the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. She's actually a founding member of that organization. Well, so in this game though, we're doing kind of a what if kind of a thing or an else worlds. So we said, what if it wasn't Magneto who was the first to respond to this situation? What if it was Doctor Doom? Uh, because he also lives in Europe, he travels around quite a bit. He and Wanda both have um, family members who are part of gypsy culture. Uh, Later on in the comics, of course, they are both uh, magic users in the same arena, I would say, as Doctor Strange, right? They actually have a lot in common. So I thought it wasn't too um, out of left field to say they could cross paths. So that's what we do here. And because I couldn't talk as much as I normally could, we did this over chat online. So everybody was typing out, what they did on their turn. And we played it online so nobody came over to the house and caught what I've got, right? Um, so yeah, one guy played Doctor Doom. One of our female players played Wanda. Everybody else played a villager, and it was really just PvP, right? And in the end, Doctor Doom is coming out on top like a champ because whereas Wanda is young and inexperienced and doesn't really know how to use her powers, right? Doom is Doom. Like by this point in the timeline, Doctor Doom is established. He's got his armor, he knows what he's doing. He is fully Doctor Doom. So he deals with this, she helps. That's it. At the end of the adventure, she is grateful to him and he invites her back to Latveria and he says, you're going to be safe there. You'll be under my protection. And that sounds great to her. And then she brings her brother Quicksilver along. That was it. That was the whole game, right? So as for why we were doing this, like I kind of alluded to earlier, I saw how much these two characters had in common, and I thought, I can't remember ever seeing these two characters interact in a comic book. I'm sure they have, right? But I don't think I've read that issue, is what I'm saying. That's kind of cool. Like, I kind of want to see that. Like, I'm kind of shipping them in a weird way. But like something we've been doing recently is like we introduced Reich 5 and excuse me for a minute. Sorry about that. I'm losing my voice. I can't talk much longer. But with Reich 5, it's this dimension where Germany won World War II. So now in the 21st century, you get high tech versions of those bad guys, right? And then they go to other dimensions and then they find their counterparts in those dimensions who are fighting their own versions of World War II. And they start to give them high tech stuff to help them because they want the multiverse to be more like they are, essentially, right? By the way, we took that straight out of third edition GURPS calls it GURPS Alternate Earths. And then in fourth edition, they call it GURPS Infinite Worlds. But you get the gist. It's, that's a bad guy organization they have in that game. And then we also talked a little bit about Lenin 4. Very similar idea, just replace Germans with Soviets. So on Lenin 4, the USSR won the Cold War, right? And they also are giving arms and technology and stuff to other worlds to try to promote the stuff that they're into. Well, so that stuff is all fine and good, and I enjoy that sort of thing as a player. But obviously, since our thing is a superhero role playing game, we always are going to circle back to DC and Marvel, right? That's kind of the meat and potatoes of our game. And so I wanted to do sort of the Marvel version of like a Reich 5 or a Lenin 4 or whatever. And I started to think about Marvel villains who might be like the emperor of their own, multiversal empire. And the first one that came to mind was Apocalypse, but I thought, yeah, they kind of did that in a way with like Age of Apocalypse. It wasn't multiversal, but you know what I mean. I wasn't sure if I would have anything original I could bring to the table, and I didn't want to kind of like waste anybody's time kind of rehashing the same old thing. And I thought of Thanos, and I thought, well, my take on Thanos is more like he kind of just wants to impress Mistress Death, right? And he's going to do that by wiping out, a big part of the cosmos. Not really so much ruling over people and stuff. So I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that either. But then I thought of Doctor Doom, and I thought, man, I love Doctor Doom so much, and he is the classic Marvel villain. I always thought of him like growing up. Um, I would see him on old Spider-Man cartoons and stuff like that, and I just always thought of Doctor Doom as like the king of the Marvel villains, basically. Um, and I know that guys like George Lucas have actually cited Doctor Doom as an inspiration for like Darth Vader. And certainly Darth Vader is massively iconic in pop culture as kind of like the face of villainy. You know what I mean? And like I say, it all goes back to Doom. So I thought, yeah, dude, let's do like Earth Doom. And then when I started thinking about Wanda and the idea of these two as kind of like the king and queen of this world, I thought, man, like having Wanda on your side is pretty useful if you're Doom. You know what I mean? Um, so I'm really looking forward to seeing where they're at in the modern era and what that world looks like. And I hadn't figured it all out. You know what I mean? Um, so that was another reason we did it like this, where we're going to do baby steps, is to let this world kind of unfold naturally, um, before we then pit this world against the stuff that we normally do. You know what I mean? Our usual stable of characters. But yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. My voice is not getting any better. Again, I apologize for how this video sounds. Hopefully, you guys are understanding of the situation. Um, on our end, we did enjoy playing this. We loved the concept of this, actually, and we're excited about where it's going. I hope that you guys on your end enjoyed hearing about what we were up to this time around. If you did enjoy it, as always, we would just really appreciate it if you took a quick second to smash that like button. Um, make sure that you're subscribed because YouTube really does unsubscribe you and not tell you. And last but not least, leave us a comment. And for this video, I would love to hear your suggestions on like Earth Doom. What do you think that would be like? Do you think that Doom would have something akin to Sentinels from X-Men, but they all look like huge Doom bots or something? Like, let me know in the comments section, what your suggestions are for Earth Doom. Because that's the great thing about role-playing games, is it's not just one person telling a story, right? It's a community coming together. And we're all in this together then, and we're all contributing our ideas. And I have used plenty of your ideas in the past, so by all means, let me know. How do you think Earth Doom would go? I'd be very interested in that. But yeah, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna give my voice a rest. Uh, Hopefully you guys have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.